Hey everyone, Paul Stagg here. This week I'm going to talk about something that shows up in almost every real estate transaction. People say they're waiting for the right time. And I get it. Rates, headlines, inventory, the market can be loud. But there's a distinction that's helped a lot of my clients make calmer decisions. Market timing is external. Decision timing is internal. So today I'm going to give you my ready versus rushed checklists for buyers and sellers, because buying or selling isn't about being early, it's about being ready. So when someone says, I don't want to buy at the top, or I don't want to sell too soon, what they're really saying is, I don't want to regret this. Fair. Real estate's not a hobby, but here's what I see over and over. Trying to time it perfectly ultimately creates one of two problems. First, you wait for certainty that never arrives. Or second, you make a decision based on noise instead of criteria. So the calm filter I use is this. If the market stays imperfect for 12 months, does this decision still make sense? Not worst case disaster, just normal imperfections. If the answer is yes, you're probably closer to ready than you think. Now let's make that practical. So let's talk about buyers first. The buyer's ready versus rust checklist. First is your payment comfort. Not what does the bank approve, but what payment would I still feel good about if life gets mildly annoying? Here's the rushed version. Stretching because you're afraid. Here's the ready version. A payment you can carry without needing the market to rescue you. The second thing for buyer readiness is timeline realism. How long do you need to own the house for this decision to work? If you might move again quickly, the equation changes. If you're putting down roots, the equation changes. Rushed buyers don't have a timeline. Ready buyers do, and it makes their decision cleaner. The third thing for buyer readiness is criteria clarity. This one's huge. Ready buyers can name their top 3 non-negotiables, and they can name their top 3 flex points. Because if everything's a non-negotiable, you're not shopping, you're hoping. Fourth, the buyer needs to know their walk-away points, and they need to be decided before you're emotionally attached to the house. What's the price ceiling? Location boundaries, terms that you absolutely will not accept, inspection issues you will not inherit. Rushed buyers negotiate against their own anxiety. Ready buyers know what no looks like before they even need to say it. For buyers, the fifth thing is a plan for imperfection, because something will be imperfect. The inspection, the timeline, the rate, the first month's expenses, the fact that you don't love it every day right away. A ready plan works even if the next year isn't smooth. A rushed plan only works if everything breaks your way. So a quick summary for buyers. If you have comfort, timeline, criteria, walk-away points, and an imperfect market plan, well, then you're ready. If you're relying on a prediction to make the decision feel safe, well, you're rushed. Now, sellers, same framework, just different pressure. First question, Where are you going next? Even if it's not fully decided, you need a real plan. Rushed sellers list their houses because the market feels hot. Ready sellers list because their next step is clear. Second, what are your yes terms? What's the price range, timeline, and what are you willing to do to get it done? If you haven't decided that in advance, you'll end up deciding in the heat of negotiation, and that's where regret shows up. Third, for my sellers, two things almost everyone underestimates: showing disruption and negotiation fatigue. Having your house on the market can be, let's face it, a pain in the ass. And if you're not prepared for the hassle, you're going to start making emotional decisions just to make it stop. Ready sellers expect some friction and they plan for it. Rushed sellers take it all personally. Fourth, you need to know your walk-away points, your minimum net, your repair tolerance, timing constraints, and what you'll do if the first plan doesn't work perfectly. Because we'll figure it out later is usually where calm goes to die. So here's some rushed signals. Couple of tells that somebody's rushed. We need to do something before X, Y, or Z happens, be it something in the market, something in an election, news coming out, something gets built, that sort of thing. We just don't want to miss out. Let's buy now and refinance later without having a plan that works today. Let's list high and see what happens. That's one of my favorites. With no strategy for week 2, we're just going to see we're going to try and get what we can get. That's not a plan. Making decisions because of a headline, not because of your life plan. None of that means you shouldn't buy or sell. It just means you need criteria before you need your courage. So here's the takeaway for this week. You don't need the perfect week. You need a decision that still works when conditions aren't perfect. If you want to pressure test your readiness, use that calm question. If the market stays imperfect for 12 months, does this still make sense? If you're a buyer or a seller and you want help turning this into actual numbers and real criteria, that's what I do. I help people make calm decisions when the market's loud. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.